Hello everyone and welcome to our latest commentary video looking at part 2 of the first winter 2021-2022 update. So this video was premiered on Monday the 6th of September 2021 and it was recorded a few days before that. It's one of the bigger videos on the channel as it follows on from part 1 of the first winter 2021-2022 update, which we did a commentary video for on Easter Monday. So on this Bank Holiday Monday for early May, I thought we would go back and look at part 2 of the first winter update, and you hear my commentary for this video. You'll remember that this was somewhat of a controversial video because it's the analog side of the first winter update, and the analogs for this particular update was looking at winters following teaser winters. I shall talk you through the whole concept of teaser winters and why it was rather controversial in a moment, and I'll get on with you very shortly. Just say that if you're enjoying the commentary videos on the channel at the moment and all the other videos that we're uploading, such as Gavs Classic and also GWV, then please thank you, like, share, subscribe on videos, and thank you so much everybody for doing that. I hope you're having a lovely Bank Holiday Monday. Hoping to be back with new weather content very soon. The recovery from the significant surgery that I had on the 31st of March is continuing, and yeah, hopefully I'll be back with more with new weather content, very shortly. Right, thank you very much for all of your lovely messages of concern and support as well, of course. Right, okay, so I think we'll open up the video then. So we should go to full screen. I will click play, and I shall give you my commentary for this video. So there he is, there's Gav, there I am, introducing the video, introducing part 2 of first winter 2021-2022 update, and also, saying thank you to Richard for the gift, as I said in the commentary for the for part 1 of this first winter update. The gift was amazing. Richard's gift was absolutely incredible this year. Richard's gifts are always amazing, to be honest, but he really excelled himself with the winter 2021-2022 gifts. So thank you so much, to Richard for what was an incredible gift, and I can't wait to get started on more long range and see see Richard's next gifts, whether that be for autumn 2022 updates or whether that will be for winter 2022-2023 updates. I don't know yet, but I know whenever it's for, Richard will do an absolutely exceptional job, as he always does. So there I am, introducing the video, and also giving a mention, of course, to part 1 of the first winter update. It's splitting the videos into 2 parts. I talked about this in the commentary for the for part 1 of this winter update that we released on Easter Monday. So splitting the winter update into 2 parts was a controversial idea. I think it works well. I think it's worked out, quite well. But I appreciate some people would rather have the updates just as one, continuous large video. But I was just getting too tired, just getting too tired to be able to do that. So I took the decision that it was time to split up the updates. I think we made that decision for the 2020-2021 winter updates, and it's actually worked out better than I expected. It does mean that Part 2's, though, the analog side, always rates a little bit low, except for this one, actually. This one is right up there with all of the big winter update videos, which is usually the part 1s, with over 6,000, nearly 7,000 video views. So, generally, the analog side of the winter updates of part 2s, they rate a little bit worse than the part 1s. But this is the exception to the rule, and I assume it's because it's winters following teaser winters, and as I say as we go through it, here's a lot of very interesting charts to be seen. So, short introduction there, and here we go onto the video, and we begin looking at the reanalysis for the winter of 2020-2021. This is where the whole of the teaser winter idea is based upon, really. So we've only had a really cold winter for winter 2020-2021. It was so close to like a really big cold, snowy winter. In fact, Scotland did have quite a cold winter. It had lots of northern blocking around Greenland and within high latitude. But the trough of low pressure that you see there, the blue colours, just aren't far enough south to be allowing us to tap into proper cold air from the east and from the northeast. So we came away with somewhat of a cold winter, 2020, 2021. There was wintry weather at times, but it wasn't a classic, it wasn't classic cold, snowy winter. Those once a decade, once every 15-year type winters. And it was exactly as we expected when we did the forecast for the winter of 2020-2021. But we released, at the beginning of December 2020, we said we would have a cooler winter. It would be quite cold at times. There would be some wintry weather, but it wouldn't be a classic cold winter. And the idea with that is that that could be setting up like a colder winter to follow. So we have a cool winter after a run of mild winters, and then we get a proper cold winter that follows that cool winter. And, I termed that as a teaser winter. And I said I thought, when I did the winter 2020-2021 forecast, I said I thought this winter was likely to be a little bit of a teaser and could be setting up like a bigger, colder, snowier winter 2021-2022. So rather unusually so, the winter forecast for 2020-2021 was actually a 2-year forecast, really, for like 2 winters. The primary forecast was for 2020, 2021, but there was also the 2022, 2021, 2022 aspect as well, where we suggested that might be a significantly colder winter. This is all based on what I've observed, looking back through history. And I noticed this, first of all, back in the late 2000s, which we'll be talking about in a moment, I think. But this is all based on what I've observed through history, that when you have a very cold winter, if you look at those very cold winters, often you'll find that the winter before it is a cooler but not especially cold winter, and then the winter after it, the third winter, if you like, in the succession, can sometimes be quite cold as well. But it's normally the middle winter, that second winter, that is the one that has properly cold, snowy weather, even down to lowland southern England, and on quite a consistent basis. And I noticed that, first of all, for 2008, 2009, so 08, 09, and then followed by that 09, 10, and also 10, 11. And we move over to the UK Met here. Again, somewhat unusual for analogs. Normally with the analogs side of things, I just get straight into it. But I thought we needed a little bit of an explanation about the teaser winter concept. For this, so for this video, so I did spend a little bit of time just setting it up, and what we're looking at here is the temperature anomaly for the winter of 2020-2021. You get the idea that I'm talking about here. But Scotland has quite a cool winter, England, Wales has a near average winter, but wherever you are, it is significantly cooler or colder than the winter before it, 2019-20, the polar vortex of doom winter. So there's a significant reduction in temperature from 1920 to 2021, but it isn't an especially cold winter. It's only cold on average for Scotland. England, Wales only get like an average temperature anomaly, and this is comparable. I thought this was comparable to what happened in the winter of 2008, 2009. So here we are looking at temperature anomaly for 08, 09. It's a little bit flipped around. This time it's England, Wales that's colder than Scotland and Northern Ireland, but the idea is still there. It's a rather cooler winter, compared to winter before it, which I'll have a look at in a moment, which would be 2007, 2008. It's a rather cooler winter than that one. But again, it isn't a desperately cold winter. The unusual thing of that one is that the coldest anomalies are focused on the south rather than the north. But this is a temperature anomaly for 2007, 2008. You see widely across the whole country, it's warmer than average. It's a very mild winter. Then we go cooler for 08, 09. And then what happens when we get to the next winter, which of course is going to be 09-10, do we see a significant reduction in temperature for 09-10? What happens? Here we go. yes, you see, it's a very, very cold winter for 0910, 2009, 2010. So that same idea. We have a mild winter, we have a cooler winter, they have a properly really cold winter, and as I'll explain in a moment, we have another pretty cold winter for 2010-11. Here's the temperature only for 2010-11. Again, below average temperature, but not as cold as 08-09. Not as cold as 09-10, I should say. Again, reason for that, we have a December to remember, which is an exceptionally cold month, but then later in the winter of 2010-2011 actually goes rather milder. But it's that idea at work, and you see it quite repeatedly as you go back through the past. That idea is at work there. You have like a run of milder winter, so you get a cooler winter, you get a very cold winter in the middle, and then you get like a third winter, which is quite cold, but not as cold as the middle winter of the two. And I sort of termed this as a teaser winter, but that first cooler winter is setting up the much colder winter that follows it, and then potentially a third cold winter, not always the case that you get a third cold winter. So we go through the years that I picked out as potential teaser winters here, and we begin with 1907, 1908. This is all focused on the 20th century. We don't go any further back than like the beginning of the 20th century. So the first teaser winter I picked out is 1907 and 1908, and I wanted, again, this is somewhat unusual that I would go through like two sets of analogues, the teaser winter and then the main winter after it. And we do get onto main winter after the teaser in a moment, and that's when the fun really gets going. But there's a lot of setting up with this, because it is quite a complicated idea, quite a difficult idea. It's an unusual idea. It's something that I've never done before. And after the way it's worked out, I'll probably never do it again, to be honest. But there is a lot of setting up that I need to do with this. But I think people appreciated the fact that I went, to a lot of trouble to explain the concept. So not like the concept just thrown together, on the back of an envelope, and I didn't give any thought to it. I gave a lot of thought to the teaser winter concept, to the teaser winter idea. I've been thinking about it really since as I say, 2021, since those updates and that forecast winter 2020, 2021. I always knew when I did the forecast, quite interesting, and again, it never works out like this. I've never had this set up, set up in this way. But when I did the forecast, the winter of 2020, 2021, I always knew that the analogues for the first winter 2021-2022 updates, I always knew that the analogues would be, focusing on teaser winters. I knew that's where I would begin the winter updates of 2021-2022. I had that sort of worked out even before we got to the end of the 2020-2021 winter updates, to be honest. So it is unusual that it works out like that. But yeah, I've given it a lot of thought. It wasn't something that was just thrown together. I had given the concept I thought. I've gone back, a long way into. I've gone back and looked at it, for quite a long while, and it's something I've actually been thinking about really since I observed this in 2008, 2009, and 2009, 2010, 2011. So when I started doing the winter updates, I probably knew, years ago, that at some point when the time was right, I would bring my teaser winter idea to the fore. And I was just waiting for the right time and the right opportunity to do it. I nearly did it for 2017-18 as a teaser, 2018, 2019 as the main cold winter. But again, I just pulled back from that a little bit at that time. But I thought this was the correct time to do it. As it turns out, I thought that wrongly, because it turns out that 2020-21 wasn't a teaser winter. It's just like a one-off cooler winter. And you know, we know what happened for 2021, 2022, which turned out to be a mild winter. But I do explain, I think, at some point through the video, I may have done it already, it may be later on, at some point through this video, I do explain that the only way of knowing if a first winter is what is or was a teaser is by the second winter turning out to be, you know, significantly colder. And so you only know at the end of the second winter if the first winter was a teaser. There's no way of knowing beforehand whether it was or not. I suspected that 2020, 2021 was a teaser winter. But, you know, I explained that actually, realistically, until you get to the end of that second winter and you see whether it has come out as, like, a really cold winter, there's no way of knowing. Some people found the teaser winter idea to be very controversial and were very displeased with me doing this video, you know, and talking about this concept. It is noted, I think, by everybody on the weather scene that cold winters tend to come in clusters. So I think there's a little bit of a misunderstanding by what I was saying about the teaser winter. Basically, with the teaser winter idea, what I'm saying is that, you know, colder winters come in clusters. They tend to come in clusters of 2s, maybe 3s. And it is observable that the second winter tends to be, you know, the coldest of the series, if you like, the most consistently cold of the series. The first winter tends to be not as cold, not as severe. The second winter tends to be like the coldest of the series. And then the third winter, you know, can sometimes be very, very cold, as we see with December 2010, but not as consistently so as that second winter. That's really all I'm saying with this. I use the term of the teaser winter because it's easily identifiable and understandable. But I'm not saying that like there's like a weather god that's planning all of this out or anything like that. Although I do talk about the weather gods, you know, at times. I like to talk about weather gods at times. But of course, there's not like larger hands at work that's planning all of this out and dictating what's going to happen. And so I think there's a little bit of a misunderstanding about what I was getting at with the teaser winter idea. Some people also thought that I was doing this, you know, for clicks and for views, and you know, I know a few people actually got quite upset with me over the whole idea. That was not the reason for doing the teaser winter idea, though. As it turns out, it is a very big video, but I did not know that that's how, you know, it's going to come out. My expectation was that, you know, it would be very similar to all of the analogs updates, which, as I say, always rate lower. The part 2s, the analogs, always rate lower than the part 1s with the winter updates. I had no reason to believe that that wouldn't be the case with this. I thought we'd probably have quite a big premiere, but you know, in terms of overall views, I was expecting that again we would see like the pattern that had been established a year before. That you know, that we would have significantly lower ratings for this video compared to like part 1 of the first winter 2002 and 2022 updates. So I didn't do this for clicks and views. This is a genuine idea that I believe, you know, I believed at the time that winter 2020 2021 had been what I would term as a teaser winter. You know, it had been like a cooler winter that was potentially setting up a cold winter, actually potentially getting itself into a state where a colder winter would be viable for 2021, 2022. I don't do anything that, you know, doesn't, that I don't believe in. So, some people, I think, lost a little bit of faith in me over this idea and thought, you know, that I was just doing this for attention, I suppose, and for money, and that I was in it for the money, and just trying to get, you know, attention and views and clicks and get as much money as I can. I don't do anything for money. You know, I could be far more commercial than I want. Than, you know, I am. If I wanted to do, you know, for this, let's say this video, I was just doing it for like views and attention and promoting, then I would of course share this video with the media. You know, I'd have sent a copy of this to as many newspapers and media outlets as I possibly could, and I'd have attached a very outrageous sort of statement with it as well. You know, telling them I think we're going to have a very cold winter. This is not a winter forecast, man. This is just one update within like 13 updates, and 12 still to follow. Excuse me. So, you know, I would have sent this video to as many media outlets as I could. I would have attached a very outrageous statement with it and said, you know, this is what is going to happen. We're going to have an extremely cold winter. Last winter was telling us we're going to have a very cold winter for this, and put it on your front page, you know, say take the Express, put it on your front page, and you know, get as much attention as I could and get as many views as I could. I have never worked like that. If I have been like in the media at times over the years, but it's only when they have sort of watched my videos themselves and quoted me, if you like. I have never spoken to any journalists, actually, I don't think. Maybe one or two. But, you know, generally when I'm quoted in the media, it doesn't happen that often, but when I am quoted in media, in papers, it's because they have watched my videos and they take selected quotes, often out of context. But I have had no, you know, I have had no sort of contact with any media outlet in all the time I've been doing GavsWeatherVids in terms of trying to promote my videos and so on. So that's not a game that I play, and I've never played that game. So it was a genuinely held opinion and belief, and I still, although it hasn't worked out for this, you know, although it's not worked out for this winter or for last winter, although it didn't have a cold winter, 2021 to 2022, yeah, I still believe that the concept holds true. And my guess is that when we have our next very cold winter, you will find that the winter before it will be somewhat cooler than the preceding winters. That's, you know, my guess. Whenever the next very cold winter strikes, we will at some point get a very cold winter. When that happens, I think you will be able to go back and see that the winter before it was cooler than preceding winters and was kind of like a little bit of a warning sign that, you know, that the next winter was going to be a genuinely cold winter. But yeah, some people did get quite upset with me about all of this. And, you know, for most people, I'm so very sorry that that happened. You know, I know some people did lose a little bit of faith in me and in GavsWeatherVids. Would I do the Tease of Winter idea again? I think I would, you know, actually, although it didn't work out. I still think it's an idea that benefits from being aired. You know, it's worthy of discussion and debate. So yes, I would still do. You know, I would still do the teaser winter idea again. We've moved on now to we've gone through the teaser winter, the winters I picked out as like teasers. We're now going through the much colder following winters, and this is where the real eye candy comes in for cold lovers. So it takes us quite a long time to get there. You know, it takes us over halfway through the video, and it's amazing that so many people stuck with it as long as they did, to be honest. So much setting up, but this is a payoff now. So we've set it all up. I'll explain the teaser winters. I'll explain the teaser winter concept. I've gone through, you know, the teaser winters that I picked out. This is now the payoff, you know. So we've got some very, very extreme looking charts here. We've got 1928, 1929, we've got 1940 here. So, you know, famously, we didn't have a Sub-Zero CET month from February 1895 until January 1940. There it is, the winter of 1939-1940, extremely cold, snowy winter, first winter of the Second World War, of course. And so on it's going to go. You're going to see all of the big winters picked out here. And I suppose this is where the controversy came in that I was doing this, because, you know, one after another really cold winters. It's definitely like the best the best video, the best update that cold lovers are ever going to see. You know, there will never be another, unless I do tease winters again, which I probably won't, but, you know, who knows what the future holds. Who knows what may happen in 10 years' time or something, if I'm even alive then. But you know, for now, this is definitely going to be like the best update that the cold lovers are ever going to see. Here's 1947, for example. It just goes on and on with all of the best, most sort of famous cold winters, one after another. Another reason I wanted to do this was to give back to the cold lovers, you know. There was a little bit of that going on. So a lot of people who watch the winter updates are waiting for cold winters. I know that about 90% of my viewers, you know, with winter updates, are waiting to have a cold winter, a snowy winter. And I've only been able to forecast like one cold winter, actually, all the time I've been doing GavsWeatherVids. The weather gods have only given me like one cold winter, genuinely cold winter, which was 2012, 2013. You know, and that was like my very first winter. Hardly anybody was watching. I was on the old channel, my original channel that I'm now vlogging about mouth cancer on. And so hardly anybody, the videos are still there, so if anybody wants to go back and see me forecasting through a cold and snowy winter and into spring, very cold March and very cold snowy March, of course, they can always go back and have a look at those videos, because they're like 10 years old now, those videos. I'm not very good on them anyway, because I'm sort of learning my craft a little bit. But the videos are there if they want to look at them. But that's the only genuinely cold winter that I've had to forecast. Oh, here's for Daddy! For Daddy! It's for Daddy, everybody! Daddy! Yes, it's Daddy of Cold Winter. Don't sound too bad there, do I? Daddy of Cold Winter's 1963 is included in the teaser winter idea as well. So on and on and on it goes with these very, very extreme looking winter charts, you know, and as I say, I did want to do this for the cold lovers who have been with me for so very long and have very little to show for it, really, you know, in terms of what I've been able to forecast for them. So you know, I believe in the concept, so don't get me wrong, I wasn't sort of making up the concept just so that I could give the cold lovers a cold video, you know, just so I could give them these analogues. So I genuinely believe in the concept, first and foremost. But secondary to that is that I did want to do something for, you know, for my colder, you know, my colder followers and the followers that would like to have a cold winter, would like to have a snowy winter. I wanted to do an update that was primarily for them. So I think I explained in part 1 of this first winter update. I'm never sure when I do winter updates whether I'll be coming back another year. And actually, how it's worked out with my mouth cancer, you know, it's turned out to be very, very, you know, almost like a premonition. What I said in that first update, you know, part 1 of the first winter update, where I talked about, you know, could this be the final year for winter updates, and how I'd like to go into every year of winter updates, thinking this might be my last year, and so of course I'm hoping very much that I'll be back for winter updates for 2022, 2023, but you know, you never know what the future's going to hold. That's what I said in like the part 1 of this video. No one knows what the future is going to hold. I have always known that I have had, you know, that I had the pre-cancerous thing with my mouth in 2013, and so I've always been aware that at any point something might flare up. When I had that pre-cancerous lesion, it was removed from laser ablation, but there was never a guarantee, you know, that I wouldn't have further problems down the line. You know, they just said we'll see how you go, kind of thing, and make sure you keep up with your regular dental appointments, and if anything suspicious happens, you know, then make sure you report it to your doctor or dentist. There's never a guarantee. So I always knew that. I always knew that something could flare up in future years. And, you know, as you get older, I'm in my 40s now, as you get older, you just never know what the future holds. I love this from Shryan. Shryan sent this to me, the question marks and winky face. What was 2022 going to have in store? Well, we know now it wasn't going to be a cold winter, don't we? We know that. But we didn't know it then. I didn't know it then. And so here we go, putting all of the years together. So we're going towards the end of the video now. This is how all December's combined look following, following with winters, following teaser winters. And this is how all January's combined look. And look at that blocking over green, which of course you expect with like 1947, 1963, 1979, 2010 in the mix. You expect a strong blocking signal. And that is certainly what we see there. So yeah, it was a very different idea, very different concept. There are multiple reasons for doing it, and I'm not sure if you remembered, but actually the very last set of analog, and again, I always knew this would be the case also when I did this video. I always knew about the very, very final set of analogs we would look at. I didn't quite know how to work out. I can't actually remember now how it works out, to be honest. But I always knew that the very, very last set of analogs we look at in the final winter update, which is the 13th, I think, part 2 of the 13th winter update, the final set of analogs, I always knew would come back to the teaser winter. So almost like poetry, that it would rhyme, that's very, very intentional. And something that I don't always do, but I have done that a little bit more over the past few years, as the winter updates have got more ambitious. I have started, trying to connect them to one another a little bit. So yeah, there's almost like poetry going on within the winter updates where, one update, like the first update, will then connect back to the final update. And so on, and I think that always works out quite nice, artistically, anyway. But of course, the ultimate thing is get the forecast correct. And where this all falls down is that the forecast went wrong because we, not just based on teaser winters, actually it's only a small part of the final forecast. There were many other reasons why we went for a cold winter for 2021, 2022. But we didn't get a cold winter, so this kind of all falls down with the forecast. So, as I said, like in the last commentary video, I think the seasonal winter updates that we did for 2022, I think it was the best season of winter updates. I think, if I do winter updates for 22-23, I don't think I'll be able to top, I don't think I'll be able to top it, actually. I think, I may never be able to top the winter updates that we did for 2021, 2022. I may never be able to top those updates. But nevertheless, in terms of the updates themselves, I think it's the best, and the best season of updates. I just wish the forecast, though, could have come out a little bit better, because ultimately, all of these videos and updates, whether they're the part 1s or part 2s, and really the part 1s and part 2s should be seen as like one single video. And to be honest, all of the winter updates should be seen as one large, like 12, 13 hour video, to be honest, that is building up to the forecast. So it should be taken as a whole like that, really, although we split them up even more now than we used to do into part 1s and part 2s. They should all be seen as like one large whole, to be honest. And so, the main thing, of course, you can have as many fantastic updates as you want, but the main thing that you want is to get the forecast correct. Nobody sets out to create a forecast that goes wrong. It's not in my interest to create an outrageously cold forecast, get clicks or user money, but then it goes wrong and it all falls apart, because, of course, the more forecasts that go wrong, the worse that your reputation goes down. So I'm always trying to get the forecast correct, but nobody's ever going to be able to get every single forecast right, particularly in the long range, particularly in the extended range. Nobody will be able to get every single forecast right. We had a pretty good run up to this point. We had a very good run from winter 2020-21 right way through to autumn 2021. So we were due a stinker, we were due for one to go wrong, and we got it. You know, we got that forecast wrong, and I'm so sorry about that. You know, it is a regret that the forecast didn't pan out 2021, 2022. I say nobody sets out to have a forecast that goes wrong. I think I'm just summing up here, so I'll probably just pause the video. I'll stop the video there because we're pretty much at the end of the commentary now. Yeah, so nobody sets out to create a forecast that goes wrong. That certainly wasn't my intention. I genuinely thought that 2020, 2021 was a cooler winter, call it T21, but was a cooler winter that was going to be followed by a cold winter. And so much of the data, you know, in terms of the drivers, was pointing in that direction as well. So it's regrettable that we didn't get that cold winter that I was expecting, but never mind, you know, onwards and upwards. And when I can, I am going to try and get back to the longer range, you know, once again. And I don't know whether that will be for autumn 2022, or updates to that will begin in June if I'm able to, or whether we might have to wait until September for winter 2022-2023 updates to begin. I just don't know. You know, it's an uncertain time for me. It's an uncertain time for you, for all of the people who love what we do at GavsWeatherVids. But please know that I am fighting with everything that I've got, you know, to beat this mouth cancer and to get things back on track. And as soon as I am physically able to, you know, as soon as I'm given the green light by the doctors and whatnot to be able to do you know, regular videos, then of course, as soon as I'm able to, I will be back, you know, with the long range, and we'll start it all over again. And I just can't wait. I can't wait to get back to it. I'm absolutely, you know, because I've not been able to do any long range updates since December when we signed off on the winter forecast. So it's been a long time now. I'm recording this on the 23rd of April. I know I'm not going to be able to do a summer forecast. And I'm just absolutely, you know, itching to get back to. I'm itching to get to, like, you know, the reanalysis website and start getting those analogs going again, and start bringing you the long range data again. Start looking at, you know, ENSO and the QBO and solar activity, and maybe, I suppose this year it would be like summers following dry Aprils or something, and that sort of thing. You know what we do. You know, I just can't wait to get back to it. But we'll be physically able to get back to it, and there's no point. I probably am physically able now, to be honest, after the operation. But there's no point starting something if I'm not able to finish it. So if I was to do, let's say I started doing some late in the day summer updates, but then I'm going to go off and have more treatment before the end of May, then what would be the point? Because I just have to abandon. I'll have to abandon the updates, wouldn't I? So I would have done like 2 or 3 updates, but I wouldn't be able to actually bring it to a conclusion. So until I'm both physically able to do it, and also I know that I've got a clear run where I'm not going to need, treatment, then there's no point bringing back the long range. I've got to be able to have the time to do it and be well enough to do it. But believe me, I'm fighting with everything that I have got to be able to start bringing you these updates again, because I do not want my final long range forecast to be one that's gone wrong. You know, I want to redeem myself. And redeem GavsWeatherVids from that forecast of 2021, 2022. So as soon as I'm able to, I'll be back on it, and we'll see if we can get a better forecast, you know, some better forecast than that one. Gosh, what a commentary this has been. I hope you found it interesting and informative. I hope I've been able to bring some of the ideas, you know, behind the teaser winter concept to the fore. I know that some people will still be unhappy about what went on with the Tees Winter idea. There will be some people within the weather community that are still quite upset about the whole thing. You know, but I hope for those people I've explained a little bit behind the ideas of what I was trying to do with this. And yeah, you know, hopefully we can hopefully we can all move on, and you know, this will fade into midst of time. But the video will always be there. So for those that want to see that eye candy, those eye candy analogs, you know, they'll always be there for people to be able to go back and have a look and check them out. And as I say, for the coal lovers and the snowmantics, this will undoubtedly be the best video that they'll ever have, you know, and it's a one-off video, and it'll be like a one-off best video that they will ever have for coal, for the coal lovers and for the snowmantics, and I wanted to do that for them at the same time as always having the belief, you know, that the concept is valid and at the very least is worthy of discussion. Okay, so what a commentary this has been. Thank you so much, everybody, for sticking with it and watching it right way through. Gone on for 40 minutes. I hope I haven't spoken too bad. I appreciate I'm still not speaking 100%, but it's getting a little bit better. So I hope you enjoyed this commentary video. Enjoy the rest of your bank holiday money. If you'd like to see more commentary videos, then please let me know in the comments. Maybe suggest, you know, if there's a video that you remember that you'd like to see me comment on, then you could suggest that. But you enjoy the rest of your bank holiday money, and for this commentary video, that's all for now. And thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.